We all know that feeling, right? You want to get something perfect, so you analyze, you plan, you research some more. But here's the paradox we're diving into. That huge mental effort to achieve excellence. It's often the very thing that stalls your progress completely.
It's the most effective way to guarantee you never even start.
Exactly.
And what's so fascinating is how this locks you into a chemical loop. Overthinking really breaks down into two things. You have rumination,
Dwelling on the past.
right, going over old failures.
Yeah.
And then you have worry, which is all about the future, imagining every possible disaster.
And that does something to you physically, doesn't it?
It does. This chronic thinking, it ramps up your cortisol levels. So you're trapped in this mental and physical stress cycle. That's why people feel so fatigued or can't sleep.
Okay, so let's lay out the game plan. We need to unpack these traps and, more importantly, find the actual strategies to get out of them.
Psychological agility, that's the goal.
So let's start with the classic one, analysis paralysis. I think everyone's been there. You spend like 2 hours on an email subject line for a message that takes 2 minutes to write.
Oh, absolutely.
And that chase for absolute certainty, it just leads to total indecision. It feels like you're in control, but it's a completely false sense of control.
And that really is the mental control paradox at work. Think about an athlete who suddenly starts thinking about every single muscle movement in a big game.
They choke.
They choke. The very effort to rigidly control their body disrupts the natural, easy flow they need to perform.
Wait, so trying harder actually makes you fail faster? That just feels so counterintuitive.
It is. And here's why you can't just fight your way out of it.
Yeah.
There's something called the post-suppression rebound effect.
Okay.
The harder you try to push a thought away, so stop thinking about that mistake,
Yeah.
the louder and more intense it becomes when it snaps back.
So fighting it is pointless.
Worse than pointless. The only way through is non-control. Acceptance.
But that's so hard when you have this harsh inner voice, the inner critic, just screaming at you. You're a fraud or you're not ready for this.
Right. And that raises a really important question. Why is that critic so vicious?
I've always wondered.
Well, here's the aha moment. That critic isn't just pure malice. It's actually a deeply misguided protective mechanism.
A protective mechanism? How?
Its core motivation is to protect you from the shame of being rejected by other people. So it enforces these impossibly high standards internally to try and prevent that from ever happening.
So it's trying to help, but its methods are just destructive.
Exactly. It's rooted in fear.
Okay, so if we can't fight it, we have to heal it. This sounds like it needs a couple of different approaches.
It does. For the action side of things, the solution is the rapid experiment model. To get out of that analysis paralysis, you have to use constraints.
What does that look like in practice?
It's about mastering the 30-minute MVP, the minimum viable product. You give yourself just 30 minutes to produce the simplest, most basic version of what you need to do.
So you're forced to act. No time to overthink.
Precisely. You get immediate, real-world feedback instead of getting lost in theory.
And for the emotional healing part, for that critic.
That's where compassion-focused therapy comes in. The key tool is the compassionate response.
So you talk to it.
In a way, yes. Instead of battling the critic, you acknowledge its protective intent, but you set a boundary. You might say to yourself, I hear you. I know you're worried, but you are causing me pain. We need a kinder way forward.
Acknowledging it, but not giving in to the harshness.
That's the key. So if we boil it all down, the relief comes from 3 pillars. First, stop fighting your thoughts. That's acceptance. Second, start doing. That's your MVP. And third, heal the self with compassion.
So what this means for you listening is that the long-term goal isn't really to silence that critic. Some of that reflection is useful after all. The real objective is to transform that inner voice from a harsh, punishing judge into a constructive and maybe even a caring guardian. And that's what allows real achievement to happen. Not from perfect exhaustive control, but from responsive, messy, imperfect action.